Mm-hmm.
It's going.
Hi, it's Pat and Cindy from Reach Your Peak Running. We are reviewing the Big Beach Marathon.
We ran this in January 2020, and we really enjoyed the race. So to start off, we'll talk about the Bib Pickup and Expo. It was at the lodge at Gulf State Park, I believe. That's where we stayed as well. And I thought it was pretty neat. They had a lot of vendors. They had some little alligators there
Right?
and a
Yeah.
skunk.
The zoo,
Pretty cool.
right? The local
The zoo,
zoo,
the
was,
local
was,
zoo.
was there at the expo with those animals. It was a lot of fun for runners, for visitors.
Mm-hmm. Loved it. In terms of the swag, I got a nice light blue. I like the color. Dry fit long sleeve shirt. It's a little wrinkled, as you can see, because it's been in the drawer. It's a little big for me, but I like it, and I think I've worn it maybe once at this point. But it's a nice shirt. I wish I got it a little smaller. And the medal that we got for the race is right here. It looks like a real beach sand in there. And it was pretty nice overall. In terms of the travel logistics, we had flown into the Pensacola airport, which is about an hour away. And then we flew in late one night. We were there for 2 nights. And we probably drove, what would you say, an hour or so
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Right, right. And one thing that we learned the day of the race was that there we had the option. Evidently, we had the option to get a shuttle ride between the airport and the sort of the race headquarters type area. If we had known that ahead of time, we might have chosen to do it, but didn't know at the time that was something that was available to us. So yeah, we got the rental car. It was about an hour drive.
Yeah, I guess I didn't pay attention to that information. In terms of ease of getting to the start line, there was a shuttle and it was very organized. We got a shuttle, it's a mile down the road to the start at the hangout in Gulf
Right.
Shores there. Like I said, very organized, worked out great. 1 mile shuttle ride, perfect. We didn't have to drive and worry about that or carry keys for that matter.
And it was nice to be to have access to that. The hangout is a restaurant bar, and it was nice to have access to that. In case weather was bad, which it can be. So it's a place to get in from the weather if you need to.
Right. And that particular day in Alabama, it started off very cool. It was probably about 45 degrees, which of course for us marathoners, we were loving that. It felt a bit humid because it was raining at times, not heavy, but enough to definitely have plenty of humidity in the air. But it felt chilly because we weren't quite moving around just as of yet. In terms of nutrition, water stops, support on the course, what do you think, Pat?
I thought it was fine. Yeah, I thought there was plenty of nutrition where it was needed. We always carry goo with us or nutrition gels, and figure we will bring with us enough that we're as many as we'll need throughout the race, just in case they're not offered or not many are offered along the way. But even so, there was sufficient nutrition along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And at mile 25, they had the lei, right?
Yeah, filet right here. They were handing this out, and of course, I put this on, and I've kept it ever since. Nice little memento to say, hey, you're almost there, keep it going. In terms of the course, personally, I loved it. Before the race, when I was signing up, I looked for reviews, and I heard people say that they said, stay away from this race. It's not good. It's too many turns. There were a lot of turns, no doubt, but honestly, I loved it. We ran through the park there. We ran across a lot of wooden bridges.
Right.
And
Right.
I actually felt with the varied terrain that it actually made it fun, fun and interesting and exciting. And there were different points in the course where you would meet up with other runners coming back the other way. And there was one point in particular, I remember around like 8.5 or so, all the faster runners were high-fiving us. And that won't happen now in COVID days, but it was really awesome. It was really motivating. And I personally loved it. But Pat, you might not agree. I don't know.
Well, I thought it was fine. I thought it was good, but I'm glad you pointed out that sort of wooden, that wooden plank type terrain, because I remember there being some pretty long stretches of that. So, if it's not for you, then it's not for you. But I thought it was fine. Like you said, I thought it was a nice variety of terrain throughout the race. But those wooden dock-like stretches of run were just a different pace.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was really panicked about this race before I did it was it said, beware of alligators, and there are alligators in the swamps, like on the sides of the course, and people had seen them at different points in other years or what have you. And I'll tell you, I was panicked about this. Ask him. Well, I talked about it a lot, right? And I'm like, well, what if there's an alligator? And he goes, well, I'll run the race with you. So he did. We ran the race together, and we did I had him take pictures of the signs that said, beware of the alligators. But I got to tell you, we never saw an alligator. It sure made you run a little faster, but I actually loved it overall. No alligators, no snakes, but I was pretty petrified most of the time, you would say, right?
Yeah, it was.
I get like that.
It was it was. The thought was always there.
Yeah. If I
Even
saw
though
an
the
alligator,
alligators weren't.
yeah, but you see a swamp and it's right there, and you never know when one's gonna come up and grab you by the ankles, so you better just run like heck. So that was my thought, anyways. In terms of the porta potties on the course, I thought it was good. I believe we stopped around mile 17, and it seemed very timely. I don't know. I didn't think it was bad with that. And in terms of the volunteers, that was also very good.
Right.
People were always cheering people on and handing things out. It was great. Medical staff, good. We didn't really need
Thankfully,
that.
didn't need it, but there was staff for when it was needed for those who needed it.
And in terms of going back to the course a little bit, in terms of the course, there were a lot of turns, but it was very well marked. So I always get worried in marathons about courses and the turns and, oh my God, am I going to know the way? Because there have been races that I have run where it was not well marked, and I always get panicked about that. But in fact, with this race, they did such a good job with everything. I really have no complaints. In terms of the timing mats, what did you see there, Pat?
Nothing remarkable. I mean, there were some. I don't even remember where they were specifically, but nothing that would make or break the race for me. Everything was fine.
I believe, if I remember correct, it was at mile 3.5 and 8.5. There were splits, and I think they were timed there. They were actually put there because it was some kind of a little bit of a turnaround, and obviously they want to make sure that people weren't cutting the course in any particular way.
Right.
Mile markers were great. The finish line, by the time we got to mile 25 and we got the lay here, it was pouring by that point. And you don't care. At that point, it's mile 25. You're hurting pretty good. There's just a mile. And I was like, I don't care. Bring on the rain. I'm all for it. We were running down that main street there along the ocean where the lodge at Gulf State Park was. And the finish line, there were a few cones. It was a little confusing, but you just had to go behind a building and then you straight shot to the finish line. And I had him actually videotaping the finish line for this one, but I thought it was overall very good. What did you think? Anything to add?
I thought it was good right at that point. It's as with when there's a turn in the course, it would always be helpful to have a volunteer there, sort of pointing in the direction that you need to go. So that could have been an improvement. But
Mhm.
overall, it was really good.
In terms of the post-race venue, which was again at the Hangout, it was very good. We felt what happened was we finished the race and we had to hurry to get back to the hotel because we had to check out because we had to catch a flight. But there was the awards, and I guess I found out that I finished first in my age group. So we had to go back to the Hangout to pick up the award. The award ceremony, it kind of went a little bit long, and we were feeling very pressed for time because we had to drive the hour back to Pensacola. But overall, it went well. There were also some box lunches, which, you know, again, you're hungry after a race. It was okay. It wasn't outstanding, but it was like a sandwich, nothing big. But hey, it was free, and people aren't going to care if you're hungry. You'll eat anything. You just run 26.2 miles. It's food, like at this point, I'm not going to complain about absolutely anything there. And I wanted to add, there was a shuttle from the finish line back to our hotel.
Right.
And we had to cross the street and get in it. And I thought they were going to wait, right, until
the shuttle was full, and then bring a full shuttle of people.
But this nice lady who was driving the shuttle, we had told her we were kind of pressed for time because we had to catch a flight and check out. She just drove us right back there. There was us and some other woman.
One other who also needed to catch a flight.
Yeah, so we were all in a hurry. You know us 50 staters, we're in a hurry. We got to get back to where we came from. So she was great. She was really helpful with that. And overall, the communication from the race organizers was really great. I don't know. I wouldn't complain about a thing. Overall, I don't know. Do you have any other things to add? The only maybe thing I'm thinking with the course, there really wasn't much of an elevation. They were
Right.
little tiny, tiny hills, but nothing really to speak of. Would you complain about anything like that?
No. So if you're looking for a flat course because hills are not your thing, it's a real good one for that.
Yeah. So, and actually to give the people the number of runners who ran that race.
242.
Yeah.
242
242.
marathoners. Yeah.
And I didn't remember. Were there any pacers for this race? I didn't remember seeing that. I don't think so.
I don't remember there being any.
Probably with only 242, there weren't any.
Right.
I didn't remember
Right.
seeing any, but just so you know, overall, I loved it. It was probably, again, we ran the race together. Actually, on the race, we met some other folks from our state, home state, and that was kind of cool. And I have no complaints about it. I loved it. I'm glad I did it. And check another one off the list, and I would highly recommend it in the future as well. And this was our pictures that we put together of this particular race. We put together, you can see the map and all the turns and things like that. And there's a sign of the alligators, beware of the alligators and the snakes and all that stuff. So, but we enjoyed it. We had a great time. We would recommend it to anybody out there. Send us a comment or a note if there's any questions anyone has. We're happy to talk about it. Okay, until next time. Thanks.
Thank you.